somebody who will not grow and somebody who cannot get out of his own way, and a team that can't get out of their own way is the Los Angeles Chargers, who lost yesterday to the Green Bay Packers, 23-20. I did pick Green Bay to win this one. I said 24-20, so just that close. But Justin Herbert was really good again. 260 passing, couple touchdowns, QBR of 82 on 0 to 100, and a passer rating of 99. So Herbert on the road at Lambeau played pretty well. Here's the problem, though. For the LA Chargers, they have the worst pass defense in the NFL, and this is why I said Jordan Love would play well. Jordan Love was excellent. Pass rating of 108, couple touchdown passes through the game winner. Threw for over 300 yards, by the way, through the game winner to Romeo Doubs. Packers ran for just over 100 yards despite losing Aaron Jones. So props to the Green Bay Packers on winning this game. I still don't think they're a playoff team. Still think they're going to win 6 games. But I feel like the matchup advantage favored them. Obviously, East Coast team, West Coast team coming in for the one, or I guess a noon kickoff. So like that was a factor as well. But what we are seeing right now with the Chargers is the biggest wasting of a quarterback, organizational waste of a franchise quarterback and a superstar quarterback since the Indianapolis Colts with Andrew Luck. Remember Andrew Luck came in the league in 2012. It was obviously they were 2-14. Peyton had the neck surgeries. Peyton Manning had the neck surgeries. They moved on from him. He went to Denver and won a Super Bowl. But they said, you know what? Don't know if Peyton's going to recover. Let's go and get our franchise guy. And so they went out, they drafted Andrew Luck. They were terrible, 2-14, drafted Andrew Luck out of Stanford, and he got them to the playoffs his first 3 years, despite having an atrocious offensive line, an atrocious general manager, and Chuck Pagano, who I like, really good human being, but not the head coach that could help Andrew Luck get to the point where the Colts hoped he would be. And by the way, some pretty terrible defenses too. I mean, he took the Colts to the freaking AFC Championship game when they had a bottom-tier roster in the NFL. I mean, check that. Not good. It was not good. And Luck took them to the AFC title game where they lost to Tom Brady and the Patriots. And then he had the injuries. He had some shoulder problems, knee problems. He had I knew he had a bunch of concussions. Folks, Andrew Luck once played a game against, ironically, Peyton and the Broncos, who ended up winning the Super Bowl that year, with a lacerated kidney. That's the kind of shots he was taking behind an abysmal offensive line that the organization refused to upgrade. We're seeing something similar now with Justin Herbert, where it's not that they're not putting the O-line in front of him. I actually think the Chargers have a really good O-line. You got Corey Linsley, I think, at center. You've got, what's the left tackle's name? Rashawn Slater, who's an excellent player. You're seeing the big impact of him being there as opposed to a year ago, not being there, injured. But the Chargers are 4-6 today, despite having Khalil Mack and a now injured Joey Bosa, Derwin James as well. They have Justin Herbert. They have Keenan Allen. They have Austin Eckler. They have Rashawn Slater. And they're still 2 games below 500 and not going to make the playoffs. In the Chargers' 6 losses, here's Justin Herbert's numbers. You ready for this? First loss to the Dolphins. A touchdown, 229 yards. Pass rating of 99. So played okay, and the Chargers did, after all, put up 34 points. Lost to the Titans in overtime. Justin Herbert in this game, 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, pass rating of 104. He was excellent. When they lost to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Herbert, this was kind of his down game against Dallas. 2 touchdowns, a game-ending interception, a pass rating of 84. So kind of a down game by Herbert standards. Then they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead, a team that Herbert historically is very good against. Touchdown, 2 picks, pass rating of 68, not great. But they lost to Detroit 41-38 last week, and Herbert was nothing short of sensational. 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pass rating of 115. He could not have been better. And then this week against the Packers, I just detailed a stat line, pass rating of 99 and a couple touchdown passes, no turnovers. Anybody out there is blaming, and I've seen so many people, it's Justin Herbert, he's overrated. Shut up. You just go and tell me you don't know football without telling me you know football. Don't know football. Okay, Justin Herbert's spectacular. I don't know what more the Spanos family needs to see for Brandon Staley. Kellen Moore as well. Now, Kellen hasn't been abysmal this year, but he's had some situationally. He's not good, and that was the case in Dallas, and McCarthy and Dak have been good in that regard, but you're sort of seeing the effects of when you have a bad head coach, and that's the case. A bad head coach or a bad quarterback can bring the entire organization down. You're seeing this at the quarterback position with the Jets, where I think Saleh is actually a pretty good head coach. It's obviously a solid roster. I mean, with bad quarterback play, they were in the playoff hunt a year ago. That's why they got Aaron Rodgers, because they thought he could put them over the top. He obviously ripped his Achilles 4 plays into the season, but it's literally the opposite in LA, where it's really good roster, Pro Bowlers everywhere, talent on offense and defense, and the defense, which Staley is a specialist, I say that in air quotes, at worst pass defense in football, and Jordan Love, who had some clunkers, of which I detailed in greatly on this show, threw for over 300, 2 touchdowns, and had a passer rating over 100, with Justin Herbert playing well, I might add. I don't know what more they need to see. Frankly, and again, not a Kellen Moore guy. I have been very adamant about that. Kick the tires on Kellen Moore as the interim head coach of this team. I don't think he'll be any better, but it couldn't hurt. You know you're not going anywhere with Staley. You see the body language of Herbert and the guys of a sideline. Austin Eckler. It's not great. Staley getting chippy getting testy with reporters after the game. He feels the pressure. He feels the heat. It's time for the Chargers to move on. And listen, the beauty is for LA, and the bad news, I guess, for LA is the fact that the Spanos family has notoriously been one of the cheaper ones in the NFL. That's why they're in LA and not San Diego. That and some other, the politics behind it, that's a very long story. But you've got the talent there. You've got an elite quarterback, and you're wasting him. In a different way, it's like what the Colts did with Andrew Luck, where it's had some solid receivers, but coaching staff was GM awful, and offensive line probably the worst in the league. For the record, this is the concern I had about Joe Burrow coming to the NFL, and to his credit, he has largely overcome it, which Burrow's better than Herbert. I mean, he is. He's better than everybody not named Mahomes, when healthy, that is he came to an organization that wasn't terribly well run, that was cheap, and an offensive line that was horrendous. By the way, Herbert inherited an offensive line that was ranked dead last in the NFL. He broke virtually every rookie record that's ever been set at the quarterback position. But if you look at Herbert's numbers in 2020, his rookie year to now, not that much difference. Is that because Herbert just forgot how to improve at the quarterback position? Is that because he has a low ceiling? Of course not. We see what this guy can do. Massive arm, accurate, very mobile, especially for his size. Seems to be a good leader, quiet leader, subtle leader, but a leader nonetheless. It's the coaching staff. I mean, guys, Tommy DeVito was something yesterday. Tommy DeVito threw 3 touchdown passes. Because Brian Dable is a very smart head coach, offensive guy. Herbert doesn't have that. And Herbert, because his head coach is a defensive guy, and not a very good one, I might add, doesn't have one to back him up. How many 4th down conversions can Herbert make? How many games can he go without turning the football over and putting up 30 points? 28 points. It is aside from Andrew Luck, it is the biggest mismanagement of a franchise quarterback I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I don't know. Like this shows you the Chargers are, at least for the moment, comfortable with being mid, so to speak. I mean, this is a roster, and this is a quarterback that should be getting to the playoffs every single year. Not beat Kansas City for the division, because the Chiefs are the gold standard of football. Forget that division of football. You should get to the playoffs as the 5 or 6 seed every single season. And be that the Chargers should be that team that every year we look at, like the Miami Heat. Like the Heat are like the opposite. They're like the anti-Chargers. Incredibly well coached. Good play. I mean, Jimmy Butler is a very good to, at times, elite player. Bam Adebayo is having a great season, but kind of some overachievers. But it's a great culture. Pat Riley on top, and the Heat are that one team in the Eastern Conference that the Bucks, the Sixers, and the Celtics are all like, God, I hope we don't run into Miami. Please, please tell me we don't have to play the Heat in the playoffs. That should be the Chargers. But due to coaching and at times upper management, it's not. They draft well. They spend a lot of money in free agency. They have their quarterback. They just don't have their coach. And we see what difference that can make. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube. And be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.